Hey guys, Rachel with Spunky Misfit Girl here. I don't know how well this is going to work, but I thought I would show you my coffee dye setup. Just getting set up on the patio. I've got my little rag covering down. I've got my coffee dye all put together. I just take 3 scoops of really terrible coffee in hot water and a scoop of baking soda to neutralize the acidity, and that's it. And then I've got my stencils and my paper ready to go. I'm just gonna get started and I'm gonna lay things out. There's not much sun yet. They usually dry fairly well out here, even if it's not super sunny yet. The sun will be around this way later this afternoon. So I usually do 2 to 3 pages at once because these are really thin. And if I don't, they'll rip. I just dunk them in here. The coffee is usually strong enough. I don't like them to be super duper dark. And I just wear gloves to keep some of the smell off of my hands. The spray dyes I use really dye my fingers colors too. So I saw somebody else using cookie sheets and these silicone mats. So I got a couple of those. I don't really have enough to do a whole batch that way, but it is kind of nice. This coffee is actually a little bit light for me, so I think I might go add a little more to it. See, I'm a little light here. And I just put a stencil over the top, lay it down nice and solid, and set it out in the sun to dry. Okay guys, so here is everything after I've gotten the first batch of papers set up. It's not fancy. I've seen other people do this really well with a lot more resources. Wire racks, I think probably would work really well, but this is kind of my janky homemade setup with a lot of stuff that I already had. I bought a few things, but you can do this pretty cheaply, particularly if you have a sunny place where you live. It's actually a little shaded right now, but you can see the sun's going to be coming around later this afternoon. I'll probably do a second batch then, but you can see I have some little papers here that are printed on the back. I just wanted them not white on the back, so I didn't put any stencils on those. I have my bigger copy paper, which weirdly this time around it doesn't seem to be taking the dye as well. That's unusual, and I thought this was the same paper, but maybe it's a little more coated now. It's been feeling a little more coated, which is good for my printed pages, but not so much here. I had to do a little more soaking than I usually do, and I still got kind of some spotty pieces. So I just have a set of stencils that I got on Amazon that I use on these. I have some of the longer stencils, and then I also use placemats. Plastic placemats work really well for this. This makes a really beautiful pattern. I'm using book pages from books that I've pulled out of hardcovers that I use to make journals. And I'm just gonna leave these out to dry for probably the next hour or so with the sun not being out yet. They take probably about a half an hour when it's really sunny and hot. And then I'm gonna come back and check on them and probably do another batch. All right, so I'm just starting to get some nice sun. And these are starting to dry nicely. So I'll show you kind of how this guy's coming out, looking really, really beautiful. Not perfect. That's a little easier to achieve in the dead of summer when it's 90. But I'll be happy with these. I'm gonna leave them out here a little bit longer still. They're still pretty wet. And as the sun comes around here, they'll dry more quickly. But that's it for coffee dyeing. Thanks for watching, you guys.